our executive session was to bring everybody basically up to date on what's being accomplished. And thank you very much, Rick. He is doing what we hired him to do. And he's doing a good job. And he's got a long road home. We have had a situation of neglect for many years, and he's going to have to bring that forward. And he is making progress. Thank you very much. Okay. Public comments. Oh, yeah.
I move that we approve the executive session.
Okay, second.
I'll second it.
I'm sorry, thank you. I move that we approve the actions taken and considered during the executive session.
I'll second that.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Public comment.
Peggy Lodewijs, 90 Butwood Lane, and the AMP Commissioner. Kind of clarify the request for the motion relating to the AMP tax. The purpose was, once the AMP tax is voted in, we, the Commission, will be collecting funds, at which point HICID would not have to spend so much money in advertising. Our suggestion was a commitment from you all that 75% of the budget advertising that you'll be getting would go to the fire department so that it would improve to our voting population that they are benefiting from this tax. We were hoping that you would agree to the concept because this would be a major advantage in our future discussions to the public to show them an immediate result. True, it has to be approved. True, the money won't come in until after March, most of the money as of June. But if the folks see that by our advertising, we're bringing visitors in that will use the facilities, that will give HICID more money, at which point we'll bring in more visitors and perhaps they'll stay, at which point you're going to have more residents. So I hope you kind of reconsider to approve the motion that when the tax is approved, you would allocate the money to the fire department and reduce your advertising costs, because the AMP would do the advertising for you.
I think we basically approved the concept of this by stating that. I understand that we can't count chickens before they're hatched. That's public knowledge. But anyway, I think we do support this. I think the board as a whole supports the concept of this taking place. And going to the fire department, that's fine. But it's going to decrease our advertising budget totally, and there's the additional benefits that will come from all of that. We need more people to come and use the facilities. We need to promote the use of our facilities, and I think this tax will do it. I personally am very much in favor of it. And but anyway, I think the concept has been approved.
Thank you for the clarification.
Commissioner comments?
I have a comment as well.
Yes, ma'am? Oh, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't see your hand.
Yes, I'm Leonard Walton. I'm Leonard Walton, y'all's new assistant chief. I'd like to ask the board to revisit our handbook. If you read the handbook, there's a section in there where family members ain't supposed to be working with other family members. This is going to affect more than just the fire department, but as of right now, we got Gary Martin and Lenore Martin that both work for the fire department. And since Gary became the chief, the way the handbook is wrote is basically Lenore can't work here. We're going to be losing our certified interior firefighter that's part-time with us. And she's one of the few part-timers that's actually constantly working when we need coverage. But it's also gonna affect like the golf course where Tyler and his wife both work. Actually read the way the handbook's wrote.
Who's the author of the handbook? HICID or the state or?
HICID. It's HICID's employee handbook.
So there's no state regulation or any other regulation?
No, sir, I've worked for multiple fire departments, and I've worked for one of the biggest fire departments in the United States, which is the city of Houston. And we've had father and son, husband and wives, everybody, you know, cousins, everybody working, you know, under there and even reporting up like that.
I'll tell you what, I came from the Chicago area. You don't get on the Chicago Fire Department unless one of your
Unless you're
relatives are on the department.
Thank you.
I'm serious.
I know.
There's so many people in the Chicago Fire Department, their fathers, sons, daughters, they're all related. So what you're saying is we just need to change the wording in the handbook.
I'd like for y'all to visit the handbook and actually change the policy to where husband, wife, father, son, you know, family members can actually work together, because even though Gary's the chief, between Lenore and Gary, there's two officers. You have a lieutenant and then you have myself before it even gets to Gary's level.
Well, I think you raise a very valid point. I think it's something the board needs to look at before we lose good employees
Right,
over some wording in a handbook that's only a local thing.
right. And the version I got hasn't been updated since like 2004.
That does not surprise me.
No, that sounds about normal.
All our regulations are outdated.
20 years?
We're working on a wall, and I think that's something maybe we can address this meeting yet.
Right, yeah. I wanted to get it addressed before she was let go, which is basically the time frame that she was given was basically November 1st.
So if we get this addressed even today,
Right.
then we can take care of that.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's the personnel manager.
Rewriting of that section of the handbook, and then you guys approving that rewriting of the handbook the next meeting.
Could we have a special meeting to do that?
We would still get it done in time frame. I gave her until November 1. So if we approve.
We're still a month away. Is this gal gonna, you know, I mean, I guess we could do it in the October meeting, couldn't we? We could bring this up in the workshop and then
Just change the wording in the
change
handbook.
the
All right,
word.
thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Commissioner comments.
Karen,
Well, I
turn your mic on, please.
and just for clarification, because our handbook used to state that no relatives could work, okay? So then they did make it to where relatives could work, and relatives can work in the same department. Where the kicker is you can't have a relative supervising another family member. So that's what the kicker is. They could both work there, but the way it currently states is you can't have one relative
Supervising the other.
Yes, I mean, that's what our handbook states right now.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
But that's what you're.
Let's just say your dad can't recommend you for a raise.
Well, I mean, currently you can't, like, Tyler and Leslie are in separate departments, so they're good, okay? It would be like if I was here and I brought my daughter in, and I was the office manager and my daughter worked here. You know, the other ladies are probably gonna perceive that, oh gee, you know, her daughter's gonna have every take what it is. That's what your kicker is you have one supervising the other.
Okay.
okay.
So that's what your kicker
We
is.
need to address that. We will.
Yeah, that's a question. They can both work there, that's fine. Our handbook just states you can't have.
Well, we'll just make that note in the handbook. That one person, relative can't supervise another one.
That's
We
what it
will
says.
take care of it. We're gonna,
But
That's
that's,
what it
that's
says.
the situation we're in.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's the head,
He's the
fire-
he's over
supervisor.
the whole fire department.
We're still losing the norm.
Yeah, now granted, there's 2 layers in between her and him, so there'd have to be amendments since she don't directly report straight to him. She'd report to John Sturdivant first, and then she'd report to me if John wasn't available.
But then what I'm just saying is you're gonna have to make that for every department, basically.
Right.
You're gonna have to say, I can hire my daughter and, you know, they can,
It would just have to be rewritten in the handbook.
right. That's all my point, is just it is
Okay.
because of supervision
all right,
situation.
we're gonna get into that. Thank you. Extra comments?
I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
At the work session last Monday, September 16th, there was brief mention of a group interested in operating the marina.
Mhm.
The current contract was signed February 9th of 2023 and is in effect until from January 1st of 23 until December 31st of 2029. There were several bidders for the marina lease. The board interviewed 2 finalists and voted unanimously to award the contract to KP Dock Services. It is inappropriate for the board to be discussing the marina lease at this time. It's asking for trouble. Any party interested in the lease is welcome to offer a proposal when the board considers a new lease agreement. But we cannot just go around the current lessee.
I would agree with that as well.
Mr. Chair, I agree, Phyllis, but if there are things that I feel in the 7-year contract, 5-year contract, I did what I thought I should, and I talked to the district manager. And if I feel as a board member that the contract is not being administered the way it should, then he would bring it up as a violation of the lease agreement.
It'd be a violation of,
I've read that lease, and I understand what you're talking about, improving or expanding. But I don't see in the lease is a time frame. In the event you tried to enforce that or say that it was a breach, you would have a very difficult time because there's no way, he's got 7 years. 7 years when he's gonna put in the rest of it.
And that's my point. That was what I was trying to get to also. He is in not quite 2 years out of the lease that will have 5 more years to run. There's nothing in there that says he's gonna have food service next week.
But
And the proper way to handle it is for Rich to have a discussion, you bring up an item, Rich has a discussion with the marina manager, and maybe get us a report, maybe get a time frame from it. Let's not just go with a replacement when there's no justification for it.
I agree with that, but I also know that he was granted a 7-year lease based on the idea that he wanted to expand the food service down there, but a short 2-year lease, he would have no way of making his money back.
Right.
So he was granted a 7-year lease, but I agree. Rich needs to have this conversation about getting him motivated. Maybe he'll do it over this winter, I don't know.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things that affect that, but, I think, I just see no reason to even talk to anyone else because of the liability that would put on us.
But let me say this. I was approached by some people about it, and I said, put it in writing and give it to us. We'll look at it. We're not going to say we're not going to look at it. We'll look at anything.
Well,
If it's going to be a betterment for the community. And that's all that has been said on it. And it's all been verbal. I've seen nothing in writing. And as soon as anything that we get, we'll be given to the board.
okay, well, I would refer you to section 34 of the contract and section 39 of the contract.
Comment. I'd like to thank the the Eaton Hole Golf Course people. I don't know who in charge specifically. I think Leslie, maybe, and Tyler, but they had, I think it was 72 people here, couples tournament last Saturday and Sunday. Wonderful. I was up there, I talked to some of the people. They had lunch there in the ballroom. They were just delighted with the facility, and it was just happy people. And from them bought a home here, or 3 of them, we would be in very good shape. So we get a lot of concerns about the golf course, but I want to thank them, and there were a lot of people involved that I don't even know, and it was a happy crowd up there Saturday and Sunday.
I have one comment. We got this letter from the CS Bank, Jason Tennant today, saying if we have, and he wants to personally thank us for all of our business and putting about $5 million through his banking year. To know from Jason, I'd like Rich to have a conversation with him, what we're paying in credit card fees. If you can't reduce it, then maybe we ought to look for another bank. I think we're paying way too much.
credit card fees are not run through CS Bank.
Who are
It's,
they run by?
Like,
I would have to get the invoices, but it's the merchant services or merchant billing services, whoever has the credit card machines are the ones that do those fees.
Yeah, that's,
It's not run, CS Bank does not do our credit cards.
Okay. Forget CS Bank. We'll find out whoever the merchant is and put it out for bids. Because I think we're paying way too much.
They are high.
there's several, I deal with them all the time at the store facility. Most of our people out there are on automatic draw.
What are you paying for interest or your credit card fees?
It varies from MasterCard to Visa. American Express is the worst. But it's,
But the
I don't know what the percentage is.
But the other thing that the board could consider too is a lot of companies are doing or places of employment, businesses are doing this where, and I believe we do that on some of the transactions that come through. If you use a credit card, you add a fee for called a convenience fee.
I think
So-
that's 2.5% is what we charge.
Well,
3% usually.
you,
Three?
it's
I
two.
know on some of our paperwork, it says 2.5%.
So if you look at, I know if you look in the revenue, you will see that we are offsetting that cost by some of the expenses, but not all of it, because I don't believe the restaurant charges a convenience fee for the use of a debit card or a credit card. Where I'm from, businesses and everything, you start doing takeout and everything, we're getting charged for takeout fees.
we're seeing it on local restaurants here.
So
There's
that
credit card
might
fee.
be something that the
Yeah.
board would like to consider during the budget, with the restaurant, and look at the different fees that y'all collect and see about doing that to offset the fees, for the credit card services.
Well,
Because
another
in
idea
addition,
I
in
have
addition to
suggested
those
is why
credit,
we don't have an ATM machine in the clubhouse. But those are a revenue generator. Everybody that has one in their business is making money
Talk
off
to
it.
CS about that.
Huh?
We can talk to CS about that.
We should have
I
an
have
ATM
one
card,
also.
Yeah.
machine at the clubhouse.
but that would be one suggestion, is when y'all do y'all's amenity fees and everything to pass, credit cards, have a service fee added for the use of a credit card.
Well, we could also, increase the fee but that makes everybody pay. You know,
Right,
I write a check for my big fees and I pay cash. And it's not right, in my opinion, that I should be punished or charged extra for using a credit card when I'm not.
But if you increase the fees when it runs through the credit card, it's a set percentage, so
Yeah.
it's, the credit card is they're gonna get even more fees because you just raised what's being run through the credit card.
That sounds like it.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
It's a catch-22.
Yeah, and you know, I would say a high dollar, a lot of turnover on the retail side, the golf operations and the recreation center, when unlike you come in here and pay your fees and wanna use your card, those are more one-time fees and it doesn't have the volume that you would get in a day-to-day operation like the
But
golf
if you do
center.
look at the credit card statements that we get each month, there are a lot of transactions
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
go through that credit
Yeah,
card machine.
through the golf course particularly.
Yes.
Okay, let's move along here.
Larry, I got, one thing as a commissioner's comment, I was just gonna update the board. I met with the owner of the restaurant in Fayetteville, and I'm gonna be set up a meeting for Rich. This guy is a chef, he's selling his business there, and he wants to meet with, about reaching the clubhouse. So he wants to meet with, he's been a chef in big places, and right now, I think the reason why he's selling his business, I don't know this, but I understood that they putting up. I think he's got to sell the restaurant because she's one half. So he is wanting to move to Holiday Island. And long and short of it is, I've got his phone number. I'm gonna Rich to let him set up, and we need to take a look at this, and, because, you know, January 1st is coming up, and we need to get this thing, need to figure out a contract with this, I really was depressed, so I think it's a good possibility that, Rich will make a good choice there.
I was telling,
Just wanted to update you on that.
Doug earlier that, there was an instance here way back when that there was a good steakhouse up in, I think it's Eagle Rock. Up there, but anyway, they divorced. And she started a steakhouse, and he had a steakhouse, and it was called Steak In and Steak Out. But anyway, agenda scheduling.
First is the third, we could have a workshop then, and the 28th is the fourth Monday of October.
Rich, when is the hearing? Like, yes,
25th.
say again,
25th.
October 25th.
Oh,
We'll get paperwork.
one other comment, Randy, you and Doug aren't used to this, but also a 6 p.m. meeting of the BOC in this room where we candidates who want to run for the office. There's one office, one chair open,
Where's that?
21st.
Yeah, there'll be a notice sent on that.
We'll send out notes on that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Now that's a work session. We're gonna do a work session.
It's a nominating session.
All right, why don't we do the work session on the 14th?
That's a holiday.
that's Columbus Day.
Indigenous Peoples' Day.
I like to try and keep the third and fourth, so when you're trying to make doctor appointments and so forth, you know that those two are done. And
That's exactly what I'm thinking. You set up your schedule, based on, you know, is those two Mondays in a row are gonna be meetings, and I've already set a couple of them. So I don't have things on that date. So I think we ought to keep with those dates. Do you think that's, Ken, is that?
That's okay. Okay.
No problem.
All right. That's it, good. I hear motion for adjournment.
so moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.